All right, so we're here, we're back, and now it's time to make a fire, which is one of the most important things in survival situations. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my blade, Zeke's gonna take his blade, and we're gonna start to clear away this brush because we don't want the fire to spread. We only want it in a localized area so we could heat our water and get warm tonight if the temperature drops. So we'll come here and we'll just start scraping this away until we build a circle that doesn't really have any roots to it, right? Because we never want to start a root fire. But if you'll see right here, you see how wet this is? We're not really in danger of a root fire because it's rained so much. It's kind of rainy season down here. So we just want to spread it away so where the fire won't catch on the tops of these pine needles. Pine needles are great. They do smoke a lot, but they really light fast. Now, what you could do is you could find some rocks around here and you could put rocks out of the outer edge of the fire. It's sort of like a primitive man's fireplace, if you think about it. But dirt kind of works the same. So we want to get the dirt here and just kind of mound it up because the dirt, especially this wet, it's not going to go on fire. And we'll keep this flame just kind of in the center just to be safe. Okay, so we'll dig this up a bit right here. So it'll almost be like a multi-layer fire. Again, some knives aren't this sharp, some knives won't do this. So you'll wanna, unless you have a really, really good sturdy knife, you'll wanna grab like a mini shovel or something like that. Like this dirt is actually very hard, but the knife blade is so sharp that it's just pushing through it, kind of like it's nothing. Even if you see right there, that's a rock. And you gotta really trust your blade if you're gonna dig out rocks. But I trust this blade, and it's very, very good. So we'll get down there a bit and we'll just run this fire kind of right in that pit, keep the dirt around the fire. Pull these roots out. And so we're good to go for the base of the fire. Put my knife away so I don't lose it. Very important. And now I want to start the fire. So there's a few ways to start a fire. You could do a bow drill fire. They're very, very hard. So I suggest in a situation, you always have fire starters. But first, we want to put a bit of kindling in this. We had some sticks here that we had brought. They're pretty dry. So we're going to make a little base on the bottom right here with just a little air. And we're going to take some dry pine needles because they're right here. So I'm going to take some dry pine needles. Just like this. They're really good. Like I said, you could look in treats for bird's nests and things like that. I'm gonna spread these out, put a little on the bottom, because the biggest thing about fire is layers, right? So you always want layers. Here is what we scraped off the tree. We've been walking with it, so it's really, really dry. So we're gonna put these fibers and we're gonna spread those fibers out. Now again, we're gonna grab some sticks and they're right here. This one's wet, so we're not gonna use it. These aren't wet. These are really, really dry. That one's dry too. So what I'm gonna wanna do with these, and you could do, you can do the fire how you like, but I'm gonna just put those over like that. And the reason I'm doing that is because that's gonna be a little air. There's still a little air pocket there, so I'm hoping this flame will get up. I'll take some more pine needles just to make sure it climbs, but remember the pine needles have a short burn time and they do smoke. So we want to separate them a bit so they don't quench the fire. And then I want to take some of these little sticks, just like this, and I kind of want to just stack them around the fire like so. Yep. And as you go, the bigger you get. These big ones are so dry, I'm thinking they're going to go up right away. So that's why I have a little bit bigger, but you can experiment. I say you experiment with fires in your own backyard. It's very, very important that you know how to do them and you know how to make them. Now with this guy, I'm gonna wait till this fire gets a little bigger, but then I'm gonna wanna make a cup holder. And I'm gonna show you how to do that. Once this fire starts to go up, I'm gonna have a cup holder. So now we need a fire starter. So fire starters, we could use matches. We could use We could use little like winnowing things. We could use little tiny fire starters from Zippo. Those are pretty good. What I like best, what's the easiest for me, is just a lighter or a match and a fire rope. So I'll look in my bag to see if I have fire ropes with me. This is a great rope. And then this we'll need at night. This will scare any animals away. This is the brightest light ever. We won't need that yet, but I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna use this even to help me start a fire. So I'll take this. You can use a knife to cut it open, or you just get it open, just like that. I'll make sure that I have some bigger pieces of firewood around. And then what I'll do with this rope, and I'm gonna use the whole rope. You can cut pieces of this off and they have certain burn times to them. I'm just gonna do that. And then kind of fray these edges out, because that's what catches fire. And then I just need a light. I usually have a lighter on me. For some reason, I don't have one in my pocket right now. Zeke, you have a lighter in your bag? Check it. Check in here. Oh, you know what? Here, I can use this. This is the advantage of having a cannon. I can just use this guy right here. I can carry fire starter in there if I wanted, but I just have so many things to start fires in my bag. I'll just do that. And let's see if I can catch this little guy and these frayed edges on fire. Yeah, so there we go. Yep, so now I'm just gonna let the air hit that a little bit, okay? And we have a lot of flashlights, obviously, that light fires. In a pinch like me, I didn't have my lighter in my pocket, but I always have my flashlight on me, so I always have the ability to light something. So this is almost like a torch, and this will give you about this small one will give you about 30 minutes burn time. So what we wanna do is we wanna take it, I wanna just sit it under there like that. There we go. And that will act as the kindling for the fire. And now what we wanna do, I told you those pine needles smoke. Even if this wood's wet, it doesn't really matter, because the burn time of that rope is so good. We'll just put these here like this. And then, yep, and we'll just let that rope burn. Okay, now, since this is starting to get flat, let's let it go up a bit. But what I wanna do is I want to take it, just go like that, make sure that's there. Right, now if you didn't have a fire rope, you might not wanna use these big ones at the bottom. But since we do have a fire rope, we don't need to worry about it. And I'm just gonna go like that, and like that. Okay, so that's what I wanna do. I wanna build a ledge just like that, because I wanna heat this water, and I wanna make sure that it stays sturdy. Okay, so now that's gonna start to catch. We can use some bigger pieces, make sure this fire lasts a little longer. Okay, and I'll grab in my bag, I believe I had the water in here. Okay, it's very important. You want to see it boil, so I wouldn't put the cap on it. I'll just sit this guy in here. Make sure he stays just like that. So you see how I have a little leverage there? I stuck it deep in the hole. I can even add some of this to secure it and make sure it doesn't fall, because out in the wilderness, I mean, water is like gold. It's very, very important. So as this is going, me and Zeke will keep taking sticks and we'll keep giving the fire life until it spreads a bit more. And, you know, you might say, oh my gosh, but look at that. That's, you know, the fire is not really touching the water bottle. That is okay. That is more than heavy enough. And we use this. See that? See that? That's very bad. So what I want to do is I want to hold that. Never want to touch that, because that's going to be flaming. Put my knife right there and just make sure this stays sturdy, okay? Even if you have to hold your knife on it, that's okay. You won't. I'm going to turn this just like that. Okay, that's it. Yep. Perfect. These are wet. But once this fire gets going, it really doesn't matter. So it's just at the beginning of the fire that you have to watch out for. This should, in a flame like this shouldn't take more than 10 minutes to boil. And when you reposition it, you can always use your knife just to make sure it doesn't tilt over. The sticks will break as we go, and then you may have to tilt that. So you want to keep your eye on it. And if you'll see what I'm doing here, I'm taking things that aren't burnt and I'm putting them on either side of this because I want to make sure that when these break, this water isn't spilled. Right? So you see how I have a handle right here that I can push a bit to get this back flowing. And this is flowing good now. It's always good to have, you know, if it's just yourself, I would have set this up more. But I have Zeke here, so it helps me a bit if I have to tell him to go get sticks or something like that. It's a bit easier. Yeah, that's boiling now. So, I mean, it depends how thirsty you are, to be honest. I think things get killed within 1 minute. If you want to be super safe, you boil it for about 5. This would be a great idea, a great time to get pines, fresh pines to throw in it. Zeke, why don't you grab a few fresh pine needles, maybe a handful. We could throw them in there. And now if any parasites or anything like that are in it, that pine will kill it fast. So just go to the outskirts, grab some pine needles. That's no problem. When it boils that much, it'll just take the fire down a little bit, which is okay. It's still gonna boil. You want that to boil off. Don't get scared like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose it all. Okay, give me that. All right, now pine tea. I'd take a bunch of these off. You only need a few pine needles, but I like it extra potent. So I'll wait till it comes off because that's really all you need. And bring it out here. You got to be very careful with this now. This is super important because you don't want to lose this. This is gold, okay? You want to keep it out here. If you get it out here and you're fine, that's okay. You be hot a little bit, that's all right. Put that in there. We never want to touch this, obviously, because it's so hot. What I should have done prior to is I should have dug a hole. I should have dug a hole and I should have filled the bottle in. So in survival situations, there's always learning and growing. So I should have dug a hole right here because it's cool underneath and it would have been placed where I could have just taken this bottle out and I didn't have to worry about spilling it. So now I got to be a little more careful and I had to carve the hole myself and then there it is. So put that in a hole, okay, there, and that's it. Now I'm gonna wait and this is gonna sit here and those pines are gonna be in, and when it cools down, we're gonna have quite an amount to drink. Now, if this was a regular situation, we would be pretty hydrated. We would have filled about 3 or 4 bottles up down by the way, but because we have survival food, this water will go much further because we have a food that's gonna give us protein, it's going to give us electrolytes, it's going to give us the best electrolytes that you can have from the bottom of Salt Lake. And it's going to give us the salt we need for our body. It's going to give us the fat we need for our body to maintain energy and optimal focus. It's going to give us some caffeine and not this crazy man-made caffeine or a coffee type caffeine. This caffeine comes from a leaf called Guayusa. It's in the rainforest. And it's going to give you energy and clarity at the same time, and it's not going to give you palpitations or anything like that, which is perfect for a survival situation. And of course, we're going to have energy, and that energy is going to come in the form of a carbohydrate, which is organic sugar, cane sugar that's picked the same day and cut the same day. So we'll take it now. The best part about this, one of the good parts about this, is you can have it cold, and it tastes delicious. Or you could have it warm. You can do it either way. So we'll pour some of this in it, and when we do that, this powder will cool this off a bit, and we want that. We want it to be cool. So we'll do that. And still a bit hot. There's sap, so it's still sticky. So we're gonna go like that. We're gonna keep it like that. We can screw this top on just like that if we wanted. Shake it a bit. I would shake it in the hole because you never know. And then come off a little bit just like that. Zeke, smell that. Yeah.
Smells like hot chocolate.
Yeah, smells like hot chocolate. So I'll go again. Stir it again. Open it again. Right? We want to get all that heat out of there. We'll keep this fire going in the meantime because we'll need this fire for tonight. So make sure those hot coals are burning. Zeke, in a bit, we'll go get some more wood for that. Now listen, once you have hot coals burning like that, it really doesn't matter what else you throw on that fire. It's gonna burn, even if it's a bit wet, like it's been damp here, that'll be fine. At night, what you wanna do, if it was really, really cold weather, you would wanna get logs that are about 4 feet, 5 feet long, the length of your body. And you would want to build like a wall, a bit of a wall here, so you didn't go on fire at night, but you want to keep those logs handy, that you could just stick a log there at night, and you would want a shelter to be built up so the wind could be blocked that way and the fire could be that way. I think survival is a lot about improvisation, so I'm really hungry right now, and I don't want to pick this bottle up because it's very hot, so here's what I'm going to do. I am just going to go like this, and I would probably use leaves, but I just want to make sure that dirt is around my hand. I'm going to hold it for about 5 minutes. And now it's not burning my hand. So now I could take a sip of it. It's still burning hot, so it would be like coffee. So I want to touch here, make sure my lip doesn't burn. And you see that? So it's cooled off enough on top so my lip doesn't burn. You always want to be careful, even with things, maybe you see berries that you want to try, you would rub them on your skin first, okay? And then in an hour, if you didn't have a rash, you might want to rub it on your lip. And then maybe the next day, if anything, then you could try to eat that or touch it to your tongue. So these are kind of common sense things that anybody could know. So right here, I have a pine tea survival food. That's good. That is good. Oh, they're good. Oh, yeah. Let me shake this a little more. But man, is that good. Yeah, and so it's starting to get hot. So I have about 30 seconds to hold and drink this. So I'm gonna do that again, okay? It's stirred a little more. Pop it open. Look at that smoke coming out of there. It's so good. I mean, you can even this will actually just calm you down. You know, in a situation, you have food in your hand, you have every single thing you need. You don't need to worry about what you're drinking or how the water is gonna run through you or give you no energy. Like, you have every single thing right here. It's hot. It's hot. So we're gonna have to wait for it to cool more before I chug it. But man, is it good. So after a long day, to be able to procure water and have a food that's lightweight in your bag, that is optimal for you. I mean, all your carbohydrates, all your fats, all your energy, all your electrolytes, and just antioxidants. It really is perfect for you. It's light, it keeps you moving, and it's just good. Like, I'm saying this is really good, not because it doesn't suck like most guys are saying about their food. Like, this is really good. I would choose this over so many drinks out there. And in a survival situation, I choose it over anything at any time. It's better than any protein I've ever had in my whole entire life. And you know, it's very similar. I mean, this is just with water from a lake, pretty much. It's very, very similar to a shake. If it had milk in this, it could be served as a dessert. And for the electrolytes, the carbohydrates, the clean protein, and the antioxidants, and the caffeine that gives you clarity, I can't imagine anything better. Survival milkshake. Grab it.